Boy, that escalated quickly, didn't it? Welcome to a new show brought to you from, it's not a basement, it's actually above ground. It's a work in progress. We even have lights, which work. You can probably tell it's Christmas or around sometime there, possibly, I don't know, I don't check these things. So, before we start talking about the whole NFT and blockchain and crypto and how they relate to games, there's some disclosure to get out of the way first. We here at Gaming HD aren't new to this whole blockchain mambo thing. From 2017, when YouTube started to give us the shaft in terms of monetization, we started to diversify the platforms on which we post our content. One of them was a video hosting platform called Libri. It's now called Odyssey. And that is a crypto-based thing. They reward you with a cryptocurrency instead of money. That's how their monetization works. We actually have a time exclusivity deal with them. You've probably seen it in some of our videos previously. I'm not sure if that thing is still ongoing. It could be. I'm not sure. I don't actually handle that stuff. Raul doesn't. Well, we haven't been really doing this like a lot, so who knows? You may also remember that a while ago, around that time, again, we were using something called Steemit. It was sort of like Reddit, like a social network where you could post stuff, and every upvote had a monetary value in the form of a cryptocurrency. Could have been half a cent, half a cent, or one whole goddamn dollar. Well, Steemit was good for a while. I mean, it basically like threw me into an upper echelon of society where I can now, afford pizza and soft toilet paper, and I could go to movies. I can't really put into words how awesome it was that for a couple of very short months, just making these videos was enough to sustain me and my family, and not just living hand to mouth from one. Is that an expression? I'm not sure it is. Living from one day to the next, but actually, having plans for the future and stuff. It was amazing. Like, all the content I made in 2018 was possible because, well, at least for a while, I had the financial security that Steam had brought. And then, well, the CEO of the company decided to not pay his employees because he turned out to be kind of a asshole. And he flooded the market with the currency to do stuff, I guess. He then fired a bunch of people and then just sold the whole thing to somebody else. And it tanked badly. And we had to get real jobs that we hate instead of doing stuff like this. That would be the disclosure related to the channel itself. Now comes for the disclosure related to me. You see, I am actually Batman. No, not that. No. I think Steven may be Batman. He has the tattoos and everything. No. So here's the thing. For the past couple of months, I've been actually involved in two crypto projects. One of them was an actual game, which was supposed to be on a blockchain and stuff. I wrote the story for it and some other stuff. And it got canceled. Apparently, the market is too saturated with these right now, and really can't say that's a wrong take. It's being flooded with them right now, and it's probably kind of hard to actually make a proper game that will have success when your marketing budget is not all that much, and I'm part of the PR people. The other thing was a sort of NFT collection stuff. It was sort of tangentially related to that. Well, it wasn't really tied to that. It was made by some of the same people on the. Anyway, I don't know if that thing got cancelled. I'm not sure what happened to it. I just wrote some stuff for it, and it's probably there in the ether somewhere. I did get paid for the game, though, for the very few months I worked on it. Could have been more. Could have been a lot more. Anyway, the short story is that I own both crypto and NFTs. And I have worked on one game that was tied to a blockchain. So I'm going to try and not make that a factor in what I'm going to discuss about, blockchains and cryptos and NFTs. But here's the thing. If just one of the joke dog coins that I own, increases in value by 1 decimal, I could probably quit my day job for a couple of months and do this again, full time for a while. If they increase by 2 decimals, boy, wow, I'd have enough money to buy my blood back. That's a joke for those keeping track of me dying in 2015. That's not a joke. So, apart from making me an absolute shill, the experience of actually working on a game and owning NFTs and crypto has given me some insight into the whole thing. Sort of a peek behind the curtain, imaginations from the other side. Another Blind Guardian album. I actually had that thing as a desktop wallpaper once, man. It was amazing. I had it for like a year. Did not get a lot of desktops back then, before the internet. So, to quickly explain, for those who don't know what a blockchain is, hi, there are better places that will explain better to you what a blockchain is, but I'm going to try. So, a blockchain is a ledger. It's a ledger. It's a thing you write things on to keep track of them. A ledger that is encrypted, encoded, verified, and stored on multiple computers at the same time. Every time someone wants to modify that ledger by making a transaction, that transaction has to be verified by multiple computers. If something stinky gets detected, then they don't process that transaction. It will fail. The idea is that if there's no consensus on a transaction, because the transaction may be bogus, it will not be processed. So the idea is it should be theoretically safe. Now, practically, there is no such thing as safe on the internet. There never will be. InfoSec is an endless nightmare from where there is no waking. It is hell. I do that for my day job. Part of it. Where I was going with this is that, in theory, that sounds amazing. In practice, it can be quite energy intensive and slow. Oh God, is it slow. I mean, just a single transaction in some blockchains can now take like an hour. I've seen it happen. Whereas with Steem it was fast. Steem it was hella fast. And the blockchain is still around. It even got copied into a Hive blockchain thing. The thing is, it needed to be developed further by somebody who wasn't an asshole to, achieve its full potential, but it wasn't. Anyway, it's even expensive now. To get a single transaction across in the Ethereum blockchain can cost you at times even $200, that's nuts. That's more than what Bitcoin cost in 2017 to get a transaction through. And I know because the camera, paid a bunch of the transaction fees just to get the camera. It was annoying as hell. So it's terrible. It's dumb. It's absolutely positively dumb. But it's a reality of the current technology. There's other blockchains, there's other layers that they'll be implementing soon that will hopefully address this. But there's the other thing. When it comes to the environmental aspect of crypto, it isn't ruining the world by itself per se, but it is contributing to it with a small part of the total carbon output of the human race. Now, what it actually puts out is dwarfed by pretty much every other industry out there, some of them even being super dumb and a lot more abusive than anything crypto will ever do, but it is a thing that can't be overlooked. That being said, there are being investigated different ways in which to make this, not suck as much. The proof of stake thing, the proof of vampire thing. I mean, stake, vampire, it makes sense when you think about it, if you don't think about it. That being said, crypto does have some positives, a lot of positives. I've seen it being used by people who live in impoverished countries to get jobs that actually pay them not just a living wage, but something that they could not attain in their own country by working in a sweatshop. It's something that can actually lift you out of generational poverty. I mean, look at me. You have no idea how much generational debt I've paid thanks to crypto, thanks to people watching these videos on Steemit and on Libri. It's been amazing. That being said, it is also kind of the second favorite currency of, criminals and drug dealers and kidnappers and, horrible people in general. The first one, the favorite one, is still the US dollar, though, in case you're wondering. So that's not great. And what about NFTs? Well, an NFT is basically a transaction on the blockchain. That's it. It can be attached to anything. It can be attached to a picture, a song, basically anything. It can be attached to nothing. It's just a way to verify that something is genuine, that something is that thing, that transaction, that hash, that code, that thing is the thing that it is. And whatever is attached to it, that's probably the thing as well. Hopefully. I mean, you probably stole it if you made an NFT with something that wasn't yours, and now the artist is wondering, well, when am I going to see some money from the stuff that people stole? But here's the thing. I've seen artists actually embrace NFTs and finally get paid. Remember digital blasphemy? If you're of a certain age, you quite probably had as a wallpaper one of the works of art made by Digital Blasphemy, who's just a guy. And, well, he started selling these wallpapers that he's been making for like 30 years, and he's actually getting money, probably for the first time in his life, for his art, which is amazing. But, people will abuse it. And it's not like actually that his works are now only available for sale, like for a price. You can still get them for free, but somebody paid money to own the NFT. I don't think it's the rights for that work of art, but the NFT rights, I guess the cyberspace rights for it, which they will then use to probably sell to somebody else for more money. It's what people do now, mostly because currently there isn't much else you could do with one. Maybe at some point in the future somebody will figure out this whole thing, but it's still not done yet. Honestly, the whole NFT scene is currently a bit of a, how shall I put this? Trash fire. I mean, it's like we're back in the 30s when somebody put a picture of a monkey, an ape, a gorilla on a comic book, and because it sold well, everybody started shoving monkeys on the covers of their comics. That's where we live now. It's monkeys everywhere. It's Ape-mageddon. It's Red Alert. It's horrifying. It's just spam. It's absolute trash and spam. It's everybody trying to become the next whatever Bored Ape thing that's been on Rolling Stones, and it's trash. I can't sugarcoat it. It's trash. And it's gonna be trash for a while. Not to mention that the medium is currently kind of filled to the brim with grifters and scammers and outright thieves, and that's going to take some time to actually sort out. Maybe there will be a point in the future when this thing will actually be used for what it was meant to be used. I mean, used for a good thing and not be horrible. Currently, it kind of is terrible. So, if you want NFTs, good for you. If you're thinking about buying a monkey one, I'm not going to stop you. I just don't understand you. I mean, the NFTs I own are mostly jokes. derived from joke dog coins because they give them to you. It's what happens. You can't be here this long without being assaulted by joke dog coins, joke dog coin NFTs, and monkeys. Goddamn monkeys. Goddamn dirty apes. So, what use could a blockchain actually have for games? How could it contribute to video games? How could it improve them? Well, according to that video that Extra Credits did a few years back, well, the NFT fiasco that Ubisoft just went through would be just that, where they made cosmetics tied to a blockchain that remembers who owned them previously. And, here's the thing. You don't need a blockchain for that, you just need like 1 or 2 lookup tables. There's no reason to do that via an NFT or via a blockchain. You can do that in a database. I know because I've done it for other things that weren't blockchain related. Actually, currently there is no mainstream game that really uses NFTs and blockchains in any significant way. Any proper way. Should be probably better said. For that, you would have to look to games that were made from the ground up to use NFTs and blockchains and crypto. And well, we're kind of just at the start of that. And it's going to take some time before we actually get to a critical point where that's going to be the norm, and the norm won't be something that sucks. And it's probably going to come from companies like Gala Games. Now, further disclosure, I do own some Gala Game coins. Not a lot, but if they increase in price because, they do something good, hell, I could go back to doing this, which is going to be awesome. So I'm not going to say go buy Gala coins because honestly, I have so few of them that about like 2 million of you will have to buy them to make a dent in the price, which isn't going to happen. Like there's 10 of you watching. 4 of you are probably a cat. My cat. Who would have been in the video, but she kept jumping on the camera. And no, that should have ruined it. So, as I was saying, Gala Games has a bunch of projects that are based on crypto, that are based on NFTs. And they're kind of confusing to get into and a bit pricey if you look at what they're doing. And you may know the name because Peter Molyneux announced a project with them. They launched the funding phase for the project where people buy plots of land for his business sim game, and that will fund the development. And apparently he raised like $15 million, which is, Peter Molyneux is one of the most divisive people in the gaming industry because on the one hand, he's an absolute liar. He is a scammer. He's done grifts. Got us. The thing with the cube, pretty much everything he's ever said in the past 20 years has been a lie. But the man also was responsible for some of the best games ever made. Populous. Populous, Black and White. Those were games that I don't know that other people would have made. But he did it, and through his company, we got Dungeon Keeper, we got Theme Hospital, even Theme Park Tycoon. I think that was the name of the other one. You can't really understate or overstate what he has done in both directions. So it's a tricky situation when talking about Peter Molyneux's involvement in crypto because he could be onto another scam. But maybe not. Maybe he sees this as a way of coming back and making a proper game that's good and nice and fun for all and stuff. Though when his game was announced, the price of the Gala coin did drop significantly. So there's that. Also, one thing you may not have been aware of. At the same time as Peter Molyneux's game was announced and the funding thing began, Gala Games also announced that they were working in partnership with Will Wright. You know, the Boxies guy, the guy that made SimCity, The Sims, all that stuff. He's making a game with them as well. And Will Wright, not really a grifter. Okay, there was Spore, but that was Electronic Arts' meddling, and they screwed up a lot. And a lot, I mean a lot. So maybe there is a future for this. Maybe it's with Gala, maybe it's with other companies. Just don't think of this as an endorsement of Gala games. I don't know them well enough to suggest you start playing their games. I'm just telling you that they're out there and they're doing this. Like, they're making games based entirely on blockchains from the start. They have one that's like with some spider tanks. It's a PvP tank game, and it's there, and haven't played it. So I can't tell you if it's a good game, if it's a bad game, if it's a scam, if it's not. Hey, if you can play it without spending money on it, go and see for yourselves. I may end up doing it as well, because if I'm going to get into this more, I'm going to need to do more research. But the thing is that this means that there's a chance that there aren't just grifters out there, that somebody's actually trying to do good. Hopefully. 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 See, I've got a fix now. But keep in mind that there are a lot of grifters out there. And they will be grifting all day and night long. I mean, you can kind of understand why Valve just said nope to the whole thing and utterly banned any game that has dealings with crypto and blockchains. And did they ban Ubisoft? Because it kind of sounds like they should have banned Ubisoft. Also, now that I think about it, Valve, don't you do the exact same thing? We call them NFTs, but since the apocalypse happened to Team Fortress 2, we've had basically the same thing. People just trading items, scamming each other, gambling with items, and then, there was the thing with the Russian mob laundering money using items in Team Fortress 2. The earbuds, wasn't it? Yeah, if I remember right. There was an investigative piece a while back about that. So it kind of sounds that maybe Valve should probably at some point reevaluate its position. I'm not saying it should accept grifters and scammers, but they've laundered money for the mob and Ubisoft. Anywho, here's how the blockchain would work for a video game. There's a couple of ways in which it would work. First one, play to earn. Now, this would mean that the game simply has an in-game currency, an in-game resource that can be taken out of the game and in exchange for other currencies, other cryptocurrencies, or actual real-world money, or directly exchanged for goods if it's like a really nifty currency that people accept worldwide. It's basically what EVE Online has been doing with Plex for over a decade. I think a decade, probably more. Well, no, a decade or so. It's kind of the same idea, but being tied to a blockchain would make it hard to falsify, I guess. That would be the idea of it. Or but technically what World of Warcraft has been doing with its gold, since day one, what every MMO has done with its gold since day one, gold farmers are a thing. They exist. They've existed in video games for ages, and that's what they do. And again, going back to Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, they did try to legalize item farming in Diablo 3 with the auction house, and they would take a cut and not care how they were produced. So it's not like this is a new thing. It's not like the industry is fundamentally incompatible with this concept. It's there. It's always been there. Not only that, but there's a book. There's a book called Reamd by Neil Stevenson. You may know him as the guy that wrote Snow Crash and I think he came up with the name of Metaverse in Snow Crash. I'm not sure if there were different names for it back then, or the same name but applied by somebody else to something different. But anyway, Snow Crash, the metaverse. The thing that's everybody, that's got everybody up in a, whatchamacallit, flutter in the past couple of months. Well, he wrote a book called Reamdy, which is it's a book that goes places. You will not be able to guess from the point it starts to where it goes. Like it's a roller coaster of what the hell's going to happen next. I mean, where is this going? I don't know. It's one of Neil Stephenson's trademarks, I guess. His books, you don't really know where they're going to go. But you can probably be sure that the ending is going to be kind of rushed and not like an ending. You kind of expect it to, be a bit more. But anyway, Reamdy. In that book, there was a game called T-Rain, an MMO, which let you just do what I said about crypto at the beginning. You had a currency that you could take out of the game. You could destroy it in the game, and it had a conversion rate for actual cash in the real world. And that money was used by people to, buy stuff. The reasoning behind it was that there were two types of characters. Actually, no, I'm going to save T-Rain for a different video when I can explain it properly. It wouldn't really fit here. It'd take too much time. But there was a resource sink in the game that people would spend real-world money on. And what better way to do that than by getting the in-game money to be exchangeable for real-world money through an exchange rate that also benefited the developer. And it was a neat idea of a game. Anyway, that would have been a really good implementation of the play-to-earn system. And I'm not sure if it's going to be implemented that way by anybody anytime soon, but it is going to get more popular as time goes on. And one thing that it does address is there wouldn't be a lot of duping going on. I mean, gold duping is a thing it's a prevalent thing. We've been doing it in games for ages. We've been using memory editors to give ourselves gold in games like since time immemorial. But since it's going to be on a blockchain, odds are it would not be possible to dupe gold because it'd be a crypto. You'd have to mint it. But we probably couldn't mint it because the game would have to mint it for you. It wouldn't be decentralized in that way. It would be very, very centralized, now that I think about it. That's actually okay. It probably wouldn't be a problem. So as I said, play to earn will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's a very appealing concept. So it will just increase. But as nice as it would be that you'd be going from you paying the item mall for stuff to the item mall paying you for your stuff, or other players in this case, you will, without a doubt, find people who just want to rob you in various ways, either by scanning you, by hacking you, and by showing up at your house and kidnapping you until you've given them the crypto, the wallet and stuff. That may sound far-fetched. We don't live in a safe world. I'm sure some nations may be safer than others, some not. Kidnappings do happen for various reasons, often to rob people, for things that aren't readily available in their house. I can't really recommend any game that does the play-to-earn model well, mostly because I really haven't played any of them. So I know there's a bunch of them out there. Raul gave me like a list of them. I'm probably at some point gonna try and play some of them, but I can assure you that there are probably other people out there that are more knowledgeable about which ones are good, which ones are scams, and so on. So go watch them if you want like a more deep discussion about this particular niche. I'm just going to go through the phases of, the whole crypto thing. Now, the downside to play to earn, depending on how it's implemented, would be that it may, apart from the kidnappings, it may lead to an explosion of sweatshops, of resource grinding in, poor countries, which, some people would say, well, yeah, at least they're not getting, caught in warehouse fires or getting hit by tornadoes so they can meet their quotas. No, wait, actually, that happened to Amazon. It'll probably be a safer alternative to earning wages, but it'd still be a sweatshop. Again, Amazon's kind of doing the same thing, so I'm not sure if there's any distinction anymore from, the first world and the third world in terms of labor conditions. Used to be, but not anymore. The play to earn thing also is kind of incompatible with a second application that a blockchain would have in video games, and that is governance. Imagine, if you will, that you get a say in the future of a game. You can put your money where your mouth is and get a stake, basically, in the form of a crypto coin for a game. As the game gets more popular, the value of that coin increases, and you can sell it, probably, and make a bundle, but that coin also gives you voting rights for the future of the game, basically like shares. Something like this could have prevented, actually, the existence of Ethereum if it was present in World of Warcraft, and that nerf never happened. It sounds good, doesn't it? It sounds nice. I played this game for a long time. I spent my money on it, and hey, my money wasn't just spent on, getting stuff like skins and other crap. They also gave me like a voice, a right of decision in the game. That sounds nice. That sounds great. There is just one downside. Apart from it being incompatible with play to earn. It's the same downside that every MMO, every free MMO with an item mall that sells power ever had. Some rich kids are gonna ruin it for everybody. Somebody, a whale, somebody with a lot of money is gonna come in and just buy governance, buy a controlling stake in the future of the game. This can be prevented if the developers and the publishers put like a safeguard, a limitation on how much one person can actually own. If you can actually verify that it is one person and not, if a group of people are actually a group of people and not just one person. And also if they can put a limit on their own innate desire to make more money. That's, making money would be nice, as long as it doesn't turn into absolute and utter greed, which would be less nice. So it does have its downsides. I can actually only think of two ways that a blockchain can be implemented without any downsides in a video game. Like, none. One of them is DRM. Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying that DRM is a crime against humanity. DRM is a crime against human culture. DRM is the enemy of mankind, and so is any company implementing it. I say this not because I'm some sort of digital pirate king, yar har har, but because every company has abused DRM at some point. Stuff that somebody should have probably gone to prison for, but nobody did. Stuff like putting, how should I put this, malware on audio CDs and, paying a fine or a settlement, not going to prison, not being forbidden from ever doing it again. Hi, Sony. We don't live in a fair world. It's how did he put it? There is no justice, just us. And some of us are assholes. So that's why we can have nice things. One of the main problems with DRM is that doesn't work for what it's supposed to do. And I mean, letting people play the game legally. If you crack a game, there is no DRM, you can play it whenever you want, however you want. If you bought it legally, odds are you won't be able to play it. Either because on the launch day the servers don't work, because somebody tripped over a cable and just unplugged the servers and you can't authentify that you actually bought the game, or because at some point a company decides, yeah, you know what, these people paid money for the game, it's been like 2 years, let's shut down the servers and screw them all. See, with a distributed blockchain, with a distributed method of DRM, of verifying that you indeed own that game, that wouldn't be an issue. You can just have nodes everywhere that are distributed and not centralized and not prone to, dying out of the blue for no reason. Problem solved. The other way that you could implement a blockchain with no downsides, was the way it was supposed to be done in the game that I was attached to work on. And that was transparency. Everything was visible on the blockchain. Every action that every player and every developer did to the game, in the game, was visible in the blockchain after a few hours. It wasn't instant because the game was, it was PvP focused. It was supposed to allow people to backstab each other, form hidden alliances and do stuff like, sabotage. Basically what you can do in EVE Online, but we put a couple of hours of delay on things going into the transaction record, the publicly viewable transaction record, because we wanted to allow people to actually do that sneaky stuff. But the thing was that nobody could cheat because of it. Everything everybody did was visible there. If somebody found a way to cheat, everybody would know about it like a couple of hours later. And I'm not sure if we could roll back things, but at least we knew. We knew. And we could take measures. The game also had a coin attached to it. That's how it was supposed to be funded. We would have an initial coin offering. Well, I don't think it was it wasn't an initial coin offering. It was a different thing, a DEX or something, I don't know. And the idea was that we would sell that coin for a fixed price. And then that would allow us to fund the development of the game for a couple of years. And during that time, players could do pretty much anything they wanted with that coin. Well, they could spend it in-game for an in-game resource, or for a lot of in-game resources. Time savers and the likes. Not drastic ones, like we didn't have timers that went up to days. We just had timers that went up to, I think, like 2 hours or 3 hours maximum, which is a far cry from, every mobile or every web-based game with timers. We're trying to be fair. But the idea is that the money never came back to us. When somebody spent the coin that they bought from us in the game, it never came back to us. It went into a prize pool. And from that prize pool, depending on how many quests you did in a day, how many missions you did, what PvP you did, and how you... we had basically a leaderboard for the day for various activities. It didn't matter if you ever bought the coin. If you did something noteworthy in the game on that day, you were in the leaderboard and you got a share of the coins from the prize pool, which you could then spend on the game or sell to other people for other currencies or for cash. The thing was that this kind of meant that we didn't control the value of it. The market did. People did. Whatever pump and dump scams would latch onto it, would decide what had happened to it. Which it meant that people were free to do with it as they pleased. Now, it did also mean that if the price increased, we basically gave up the golden goose. But that was okay. The game wasn't meant to be like a live service thing that we would work on it forever and ever and ever and ever. No, we'd make that game, develop it, make sure it lives, that since it's on a blockchain, it can't die. People would enjoy it, and we'd make another game with, similar ideas in terms of how it functioned at a technical level, but with different mechanics, with different settings, different stories, different stuff. Games like you used to. You make a game, then you make another game, people play them, enjoy them, not live service crap. The one thing that pretty much every other title seems to be mutating into. Live service is a scam, if you didn't know. It's been quite well documented. Now, how would you implement NFTs in games? Well, an NFT is basically a unique transaction, so you could use it anywhere you would need a unique identifier for an object to be authenticated. That kind of covers anything. Cosmetics, items, weapons, armor, ammo if you're World of Tanks or War Thunder. I think both of them had premium ammo. Actually, a lot of games, premium ammo. Does that seem like a bigger grift than any blockchain, any NFT, any crypto? Because it kind of does to me. And Steam allowed that. Still allows that. Oh, goddamn premium ammo. Remember guns that expired? Hey, Electronic Arts. Remember guns that expired? And people paid money for those. But no, it's the crypto that's the scam. So, in the game we're working on, we were also going to have NFTs in the form of cards that you could use for a separate battle mode that you could then either, trade with other people or sell for money to other people that wanted to maybe play the game better and have bigger armies and better stuff and dominate. Because, people would maybe want that, I guess, instead of just playing the game to enjoy it. Which is, I think you should play games in the first place, not to just spawn noobs. I never understood people that cheat in multiplayer games. I mean, what's the point? It's like buying power-ups in a multiplayer. But anyway, that was a component of our game. It's cancelled, so things happen. That's the thing, actually. People will do whatever they want with a digital good. And I mean anything. Gambling, scamming, grifting, laundering money for the mob even. The usual. It's earbuds with extra steps. NFTs are knife skins with extra tech, basically, at this point. There's no difference. Well, there may be the extra horsepower and carbon emissions associated with them, I guess. But that is a factor that can't be overlooked. What I'm getting at is, in general, that people are terrible and that's why we can't have nice things. I don't know if there can be a method of preventing that kind of abuse without, completely doing away with anonymity. Maybe somebody can figure it out at some point and, the entire thing will be less shady. Then again, we've been doing this, trading items in MMOs, trading plots of land in Second Life, for decades, without NFTs, without any of this extra tech. And it's worked okay. NFTs would just add an extra security layer on top of it, I guess. So that would be good, most likely. Bottom line, do blockchains and crypto and NFTs have a place in gaming? Sure. If a game was made with that in mind and not in a horrible way, like, Electronic Arts will ever do with its DLC. Hey, remember Horse Armor? Remember when Horse Armor was a joke? It's gonna be a long road, a long, rough road getting to the point where NFTs and crypto and blockchains are used properly in the game. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a whole long time. Like it or not, the genie is out of the bottle. Much like DLC before it and item malls before that and the other stuff, life services, all that crap, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. It's here, it's now. You may be angry, you may be upset, but eventually you will embrace it. I remember Call of Duty being balanced for lean, for example. Anybody remember that? It's been a long time, and we're tired. Maybe it won't be horrible at some point. Maybe it'll be like T-Rain, which again I'm probably going to do a video about that fictional game once I reread the book at some point. The future is going to be weird. It's going to be really weird. On the bright side, there's always the chance that one of those joke dog coins is going to increase in value, and I can afford a light bulb. Because I don't think this really works that well. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. The like-dislike thing, YouTube decided it's not the way to go. It's not the way. So stick around. We have a Patreon that we don't use, so I wouldn't suggest using it as well. It's just there now, unattended. I'm going to try and make more videos throughout next year. You know, as this setting probably at some point will evolve and will get better and won't look like some basement anymore. Or if you like the basement aesthetic, I can improve it. I can make these walls like worse. That should be fine. That should be fun. So take care, everybody, and welcome to 2022, the year when, oh boy, it's not going to be a fun year for a lot of people. Goodbye.